Every 11 hours, a woman is unalived by someone she knows. We call it a crisis, and we point the finger at men. But that framing is leaving an entire group of victims invisible, because women are unaliving women too.
25-year-old Georgia teacher Kalin Jackson was shot and killed after what was supposed to be a night of family celebration. On April 19, 2025, Kalin hosted a family Easter gathering at her home in DeKalb County. It was the first time in more than a decade her family had all been together under one roof. She spent the evening laughing, celebrating, surrounded by the people she loved. But just hours later, she was dead. Around 10 p.m., after the party ended, Kalin and her girlfriend, 24-year-old Janai Colbert, got into an argument inside Kalin's bedroom. A roommate heard a loud bang. Moments later, Kalin stumbled out, bleeding, and said the words no one ever wants to hear. "She shot me." DeKalb County police rushed to the home and found Kalin with a gunshot wound to the chest. She was rushed into emergency surgery at Grady Memorial Hospital, but doctors couldn't save her. She died that night. Police immediately arrested her girlfriend, Janai Colbert, who was still at the scene. She's now charged with malice murder, meaning investigators believe it was premeditated or fueled by hatred, not just an accident in the heat of the moment. But here's where it gets even worse. This wasn't the first sign of trouble. Court documents show that just a year earlier, in 2024, police had been called to the couple's home after a violent domestic incident. Janai had allegedly attacked Kalin during a heated argument.
And that silence is costing many lives. Welcome back to Family Still Matters. I'm Deborah, and thanks for joining me. If you're new here, welcome. Every woman deserves to feel safe from everyone. Today we're going to look at femicide, honestly, fully, and without flinching. Who is doing it, why it keeps happening, and what it will actually take to stop it. Male-perpetuated femicide is the most documented form we have, and the pattern is almost always the same: control. When a man feels he's losing his grip, when she's leaving, growing, or saying no, some respond with the most permanent form of control there is. A woman is unalived by a current or former male partner every single day in this country. That is a pattern, and patterns have causes we can name and address. When we treat this as a control issue rather than a passion crime, everything about our response changes. Shanquella Robinson went to Cabo with people she called friends. She never came home. The people in that room were not strangers. They were not all men. And yet, the conversation around her death was minimized, twisted, and buried because our framework for femicide has no room for female perpetrators.
An arrest warrant has now been issued in the mysterious death of an American in Mexico. Last month, 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson died while on vacation with friends. She went to Cabo October 28th and was dead the next day. ABC's Victor Oquendo reports Robinson's family is demanding answers.
Tonight, authorities in Mexico issuing an arrest warrant in the mysterious death of 25-year-old American tourist Shanquella Robinson. Local officials have not yet named the person, but they're calling them a direct aggressor against the Charlotte native and have initiated a request for extradition from the United States. In video that is too graphic to show, one of Robinson's acquaintances can be seen physically attacking her inside the room of the Cabo resort where they were vacationing last month. According to local reports, on October 29th, one of the guests staying at the resort called for help around 2 p.m. Upon arriving, medical professionals were informed that Robinson had drunk a lot of alcohol. A doctor reportedly said she was stable but dehydrated, suggesting she may be treated at a hospital. the guests insisting she remain at the villa. A police report stating Robinson went into cardiac arrest and was declared deceased around 6 p.m. But those reports differing from an autopsy obtained by ABC News stating that medical professionals arrived at the villa around 3 p.m. and declared her dead within 15 minutes, citing that Robinson died from a severe spinal cord injury and a dislocated neck.
Intimate partner violence inside lesbian relationships is real, documented, and severely underreported. I said underreported. Partly because victims don't believe they'll be believed, and partly because our support systems were built around a male perpetrator model.
Society has kind of framed our minds to look at abuse or domestic violence, should I say, through a male offender lens, which it seems like for years, decades, the public awareness campaigns only focused heavily, mainly on male abusers and female victims. So that helped those women, but it created a blind spot for lesbian victims and male victims. They said sometime when the police come, y'all, they were just fighting.
When we refuse to see female perpetrated violence, we abandon the women living inside of it. Every woman who is unalive deserves to be counted, regardless of who pulled the trigger. Black women are unalived at a disproportionate rate, and Black femicide receives a fraction of the media attention, policy response, and public grief that other cases do. Part of it is cultural instinct inside Black communities to protect the community's image by keeping pain private. But that protection is unaliving people. We cannot heal what we will not name.
So you know what's easier? Let's just keep bashing the men publicly, being the image of female violence, when if you look at these statistics within the last 10 to 15 years, it would really paint a different story as to who's more violent within relationships. Toxicity doesn't disappear just because both people own a flat iron. I'm so sorry. The most dangerous thing a society can always do is become emotionally attached to a narrative instead of attached to the truth. Because once people start protecting the images more than people, this is where victims become invisible.
The goal of this conversation is not to expose Black people. The goal of this conversation is to protect Black women. And that requires looking at every form of femicide, including the ones that make us uncomfortable. Femicide is a human issue, and we will not solve it until we are willing to look at all of it, honestly, together, and without leaving anyone behind. Here on Family Still Matters, this is exactly the kind of conversation we show up for. Because the truth, as hard as it is where healing begins. If you were moved, please like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a thoughtful comment below. I want to know what you're thinking and what you're seeing in your community. Related clips and resources are linked in the description below. I'm Deborah, and this is Family Still Matters, because a family that is willing to face hard truths is a family that has the power to heal. Thank you for watching. I'll leave you with this scripture. Proverbs 31 verses 8 through 9. Going right back to what we need to do. We need to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Those individuals that have been unalive and no one has spoken for them. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy. May God continue to richly bless you. Again, that was Proverbs 31 verses 8 through 9. God bless.